All right, so we're going to be talking, and I'm going to do a series on this about goal strategy and how we're planning for success. I'm going to be doing this over a period of time. I might do some sprints and come back to it if I feel like we need some intermittent, but it's really important because we're going to be working on goals a lot. This is a imperative for us to reach our ultimate end game as we laid out the vision. And so I thought it's really important for us to start to unpack strategies and things we need to do so we have the highest probability of success of becoming that ultimate vision of the most proactive company in the whole world. Okay. So, how do you plan for success? Well, the first thing to really notate is that we have beliefs. Okay. And, have this little sign, all limitations are self imposed. So the first thing is that we tend to experience what we expect, right? This isn't kind of hocus pocus stuff, but we just have this tendency to kind of sort of manifest things, and all of a sudden we're kind of loopy for the day. We get up in the morning. We have this, you've heard the Oedipus effect of the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where you get up and you're kind of in a bad mood and you're thinking through things, and you seem to be finding things that tend to mimic your thought life, right? You're looking for those, and then that's just sort of self-fulfilling. It's like, oh gosh, yeah, that happened again. I got cut off, and this person did this, and this happened too, right? And so you're just building this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy in your mind, which is called the Oedipus effect. Um, and our minds are designed to organize chaos. That's the design of the mind, is to take chaos and to try to organize it into a way that we function in our belief system. Um, you know, I listen to my kids a lot. I'm very in tune with the words that are coming out of their mouth. And a lot of times that I'll hear my kids say, I remember you hearing them say, I'm never going to be able to read, or I'm never going to be able to figure out volleyball. Kate used to tell me that all the time. It's never going to work. And she had this limiting belief, right? This, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to read. And this just became sort of this, pattern of a limiting belief in their life, as we've had to, be real intentional at making sure we're unwinding those. And as she has gotten good at volleyball, I said, you remember when you used to believe that, right? That wasn't true, because look what you are doing today. I think about the story of Nimsadai Purja, right, with the 14 of world's highest 8,000 meter peaks, that he climbed in less than 7 months. And his belief system was you give up and you die. I mean, that's what he said. He goes, look, if I give up, I die. That's not an option for me. And if I can stay alive, that's what he said. He says, if I can stay alive, I can do this in 7 months. And he says, I have no fear. So he had designed in his own belief system, in his worldview, that if he could literally just stay alive, this is how, just maybe crazy, but he believed it and he did it. And the only person that ever did it was 7 years. So to him, nothing was impossible. Um, and so it was pretty incredible. But there's really three different limiting beliefs that I want you guys to think about. The first one is our own thinking of what we hold about in the world. That the market is terrible, or something's going on. So it's our own thinking that we have designed as a limiting belief. The world and the market is just terrible, and that's something that we've designed in our own mind. So the first one is our own thinking. The second one is about others that we have designed in terms of a limiting belief. So we might project and say, well, they're too busy to meet with me, or I'll never get a shot because this person believes this, right? So it's something that is limiting that we have imposed on other people. And then the third one is really about ourselves. Which is, I'm just a quitter, or I'll never finish, and I'm terrible with money. And so these are just three different limiting beliefs that we can hold on to about our own thinking about the world, about others, and then just about ourselves. So it's important for us to understand these things about beliefs. The next thing is patterns of limiting beliefs. I want you to think about patterns of these limiting beliefs, where you have black and white thinking, which I call kind of, this perfectionism that goes on, right? Just it's all or nothing. You have personalizing, which is, random negative occurrences. So you start to personalize these things and take them on yourself. We have catastrophizing, where we're in this catastrophic way of thinking, where we assume the worst, even where there's little evidence. Then we even have universalizing, where we have bad experiences and we assume it's true across the board, right? I had this one experience in my life and now it's just completely true across the board. And so you start to see these kind of patterns that'll take place. I've walked through probably every one of these and then some, of the black and white thinking, all or nothing. We're personalizing things, believing that we're imposing things that people believe about us that might not even be true. We're catastrophizing and assuming the worst with very little evidence. And then we're just universalizing. We had one moment and we're just spreading that across the whole world. So then we say, well, what's the source of our limiting beliefs? That's the question we say, is what is the source of our limiting beliefs? And, this could be previous setbacks. I mean, that could be a huge part of it, is just, man, I've had this happen so many times. I've had so many setbacks that it's just, it's sort of the undergirding of everything that we're doing. We have the news media, that can certainly be a source of our limiting beliefs as we look at news and all the stuff that's going on. Social media, right? CNN, I call it the CNN of envy, you're just constantly looking at things going, gosh, my world's not like that. And then just negative relationships can be a source of limiting beliefs as well. So it's important for us to understand what could be the source and the undergirding of those things that are limiting beliefs. Doubt in our life can be a goal toxin. There's a statement, it's hard to get your hopes dashed if you never get them up to begin with. And so when we have doubt, it's a goal toxin. If you guys remember when we went up to the retreat, I asked you guys, I said, if you have any doubts about things, I want you to just put those on the shelf. Leave them here and you can pick those up later if you want to, but I want you to just leave your doubts at the door. We don't want to bring those in here because all we're going to do is just dream and connect. And so you guys did. So you should be proud of yourself. But doubt can just absolutely be a goal toxin. And so it's important to understand that. Beliefs can hold us back, just think about that. I mean, how many times, people want to set goals and do things and it's not that they don't have the capacity to do it, but they just have the belief system that is either scarcity thinking, where there's just not enough and, we'll never get there. They're set in stone, this is the exact way I'm going to be. I'm never going to change. That's a belief system. Fear and loss, the fear that this might happen again. I could get hurt and never going to try again. There's maybe a sense of entitlement. I deserve to get that. Why am I not getting it? There's a stinginess that could happen in a belief system. Suspicion, where you can be suspicious about things that hold you back. Pessimism can be something that holds you back, where you're just cynical and pessimistic about things that are going on. And then you could think small and just avoid risk because you just believe that that's not something. So these things can hold us back from getting to where we want to go if we live these beliefs out. Now, abundant thinking is very different. They call it the incremental theorist, and it's, look for new approaches, your success and joy, you're thankful, you're confident, you want to share, you want to learn and grow and develop, you're trusting and open, you're welcome to competition, you're optimistic, and the best is yet to come. And you want to think big and embrace risk, right? If you're having a kind of an abundant thinking mentality, these are the types of things that will help you move into a new place, is just looking for new approaches, looking for success and having joy, being thankful, sharing, learning and growing, trusting and opening. These are ways that you can move towards having more of an abundant way of thinking. So, then the question really is, okay, finally, how do we replace these with new thoughts? What do we need to do to paint a new picture for us? And here's what I would say. The first thing is to identify, then reframe, and then engage in it with a new emotion and thought. And let me unpack that for you. So the very first thing you have to do in replacing new thought is you got to be aware of what is going on. Don't expect that you can change this if you're not aware of it. If you're not have the time to identify what are these limiting beliefs that I keep holding on to, and you probably have to write them down and really take some time to do this. This is a reflection exercise. So you got to know what you're up against, right? You can't fight what you don't see. So you really need to understand what is going on. And that can be scary at times, but it's really powerful. I've done this in my own life tremendously. I have a book called Head Trash. It's packed full of stuff that were just limiting beliefs that I've had in the past that I've had to work through. But I've identified themes and things that I've consistently do that are my own bent of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The second thing is to reframe it to truth. So you have to literally write out a new way to think about it. You say, well, what are you writing out? And my response to that is you're writing out, first of all, what is accurate. You're not trying to paint a pie in the sky, thing that doesn't line up with reality. So you're going to acknowledge reality, but then you're also going to say, here's the positive concept and notion of that when you're thinking through a new way of thinking. So you want to write down what is the new way to think about this that's not black or white or universalizing everything or catastrophizing things, so that you can start to put into your mind a new way to think about it. This is proven, by the way, scientifically. This works. This isn't just sort of me theorizing it somewhere. And then the final one that I kind of added to here, which has been really impactful for me personally, is I engage it with emotion. So your body believes it, right? So I might do it with music. I might try to tie it to something that gives me a new way to think. And so I'm associating that in my own life. And I'll give you a personal example. I have historically struggled with panic attacks. Okay, I've had these happen probably after I got in an accident. I had multiple occasions where I'd be in and I literally just couldn't breathe. I mean, you freeze, right? And so I was determined not to let this cripple me. I'd literally have to sit out in the parking lot for like 30 minutes before the meeting, trying to prepare myself to walk in there. And I'd have probably hundreds of them. And even going into the gym, it would happen. And so I've had to literally put music on that would help me reassociate what it was that was going on in my own mind. And it's been a really powerful thing that's helped me reframe and not have those as crippling. And so it's just something that you want to walk through and just remember that we need someone to speak new truth in our life. In fact, I remember the other morning, my son struggles sometimes with his own negative thoughts, and he, told me he goes, "Dad, I'm just so dumb," And I said, "Well, let me tell you something, Levi." I said, I think I leaned right down on him went right over into his ear and I said, "You are the most wonderful, good boy, and God loves you." And so sometimes we need to have other people speak truth into our life when we don't have the capacity or the ability to do it as well, if we want to start to see change in our own life. So this is kind of our starting place on goal setting for us. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive. Why are we talking about beliefs? Nothing to do with goals. And my response is it has everything. Because if you don't get this right, then the rest of the steps are not really going to make much of a difference.